Right, Tuesday morning here in Accra. Our digital address is GA0992539, and this is Joy News Interactive with me, Mapiti Sibidi. The show is live on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. You can join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter. We are Joy News on TV. Now, one of the major news items yesterday was the commemoration of the June 4 revolution. You know, it's been 39 years since Rawlings led the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council to topple the Hila Liman administration over unproven widespread corruption. Now, at the celebration yesterday, a lot of things happened, and it's been trending on Twitter. Now, first, former President J.J. Rawlings said some shameless persons within the NDC with deeply malicious motives have for more than a decade spewed falsehood about the party's history to downplay the story of the June 4th uprising.
Ladies and gentlemen, I speak of the history of June 4th because it stood for the restoration of the values of freedom and justice, probity and accountability, transparency and integrity, and dedication to the truth. Unfortunately, we have consistently distorted the history of June 4th and 31st December, mainly for parochial reasons. There is no doubt that our political rivals and a few of our original comrades have played their part also in the distortion by authoring books and telling stories that deliberately lie about the circumstances that led to the eruption. However, a great deal of the distortion of facts concerning the history that eventually gave birth to our party, the NDC, has come from our own, from within. Ladies and gentlemen, the survival of the NDC is not hinged on individuals. It is not hinged on Jerry Rawlings. It is hinged on the core values that the theme for today refers to. If we do not re-embrace the values and continue to pay lip service to it, but practice the exact opposite, we will deceive ourselves into further embarrassing defeats.
Let's take some of your tweets on the general event there. So at Anini Mwa says, why are people giving Rawlings power? Please make him sit somewhere in his retirement home. Do you see Kufuor warring NPP like this? Rawlings has and always will be power hungry. He really thinks he's Ghana's Jesus Christ. So that's one tweet there. But at Wunipini_FM says, somebody should write a paper on how Rawlings used his charisma, light skin, privilege, biracialness, beauty privilege, and ability to peddle fear to capture the hearts and voting thumbs of Ghanaians, especially the women. I see Stockholm syndrome all over this. Okay, that's a very interesting tweeter. But at 2 Hype Gang says, I fell in love with J.J. Rawlings the moment my social studies teacher kept dissing him every day in class about the bin wicked. I just love the wicked. Every man is wicked for a reason. He probably is the best president of our time. He's a good man. And that's at 2 Hype Gang. But at Gold Coast Ghana _ says, Jerry John Rawlings. So we're quoting Jerry John Rawlings says, and he says, food is a political weapon. Africa's foremost defense is self-sufficiency in food. Until we attain a substantial measure of freedom from food dependency, we are vulnerable to manipulation by the wealthier nations. Food as a political weapon. Very interesting there. But let's go to at Angels Sword 123, who says, NDC used to be an exemplary party, but now we are corrupt. Please, let's change and go back to how J.J. Rawlings did things. He was brilliant when he ruled. And at Mensa Duncan says, wrong facts. These vehicles imported over 15 years, bought in by President Rawlings. The NPP refused to pay for it because there were no documents covering them and refused to take custody of them. The company which imported then sued the government. And at Kwame McJoseph says, Rawlings is fond of disgracing people publicly in the name of being truthful with integrity. Let's ask, why is he angry with the NDC? Because some of his members decided to tell him the hard truth and he deemed it disrespect since he's the founder. It pains. And that's Kwame McJoseph's tweet there. At Amangtang Adwa says, thinking outside the box. Rawlings' first coming through the gun counter coup is exactly 39 years yesterday. Never again. I prefer corrupt but accountable politicians to unaccountable men in uniform. And at Trudy_Fatali says, Rawlings should just write a book on how to rebrand, okay, from a bloody murderer to a statesman. Okay, so that's at Trudy_Fatali. And at Anin Arthur says, Rawlings be savage. Okay, so that's a video of Anita DeSoso apologizing, and we'll be bringing you later on the show. But at Nana_Profi says, why is the former president John Rawlings worrying himself with this 4th June celebration? It becomes boring each year because no government has ever shown interest in it. Also at the event was former National Women's Organizer of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, who rendered an unqualified apology to the party founder, former President Jerry Rawlings. Now, Madame Dususu begged for clemency for all party members who have offended Mr. Rawlings.
To my founder, I know your children we have heard, and I also know you are a human being. You have also done something maybe it's not right. And I was so happy when I heard you saying that when you brought a statement out, rendering apology. You are a hero. You are a hero. You are a hero. This shows that what you have taught me is still within me. If you are a leader, be prepared to say, I'm sorry. If you are a child, be prepared to say, Daddy, I'm sorry. So I will take this opportunity on behalf of the party to kneel down before my dad. Please, forgive us. Let's come together to build this country.
Now, we're going to take some tweets on that apology. Some people were just like, you don't have to do it in front of everyone. And were you ready? Did you really mean that apology? But let's go to Twitter at AK_Justina19 says, the apology was not necessary knowing the kind of man Rawlings is. His reaction was embarrassing of a statesman. And at Busy says, anyone who's followed NDC politics over the last 8 years would know that it was the men, at least majority in the party, who attacked and sidelined Jerry Rawlings, the founder of the party. But today they sent Anita DeSoso to go and kneel before him to apologize on their behalf. And at Yara Koku says, Rawlings should forgive NDC for what? I really want to understand. Now, guess what Mr. Rawlings said.
In spite of all these, Anita, what does that make of us? Anita, mi frauti unti. Anita, see me and papa. Papa. In spite of all these, but she's getting too fair. And yet, I see, I am about Intimaminka. Actually, you remember, I said, me, papa. Anita. In spite of all these issues, let us as a party not overlook the challenges plaguing our party.
Now, a lot of people on social media weren't happy about that comment. They were just asking, so if she bleaches, what? It's her skin, it's her body, she can do whatever she wants to do. And why are you embarrassing her in the public eye? So let's go to our first tweet at Bridget_O2, who says, I found what former President Rawlings said about Anita very embarrassing and another low. To embarrass and drag her like that in front of all those people, come on. How is this funny? So what if she's bleaching? And at blackboy_Puleli says, Anita DeSoso said Rawlings he's her father and made her who she is today. Therefore, he can say whatever he wants about her. And this was replying at Quincy A.K. Lumba, who says Rawlings should come out and apologize to Anita over his bleaching comments. And that's how Pulelu responded. But at Quincy A.K. Lumba comes in to say that, okay, Rawlings should come out and apologize to Anita DeSoso over his bleaching comments. And at Kobe Blay says, no. Chairman Rawlings' approach to this bleaching was totally bad. I don't think he should be glorified for it like some media houses are hyping. Even some other women are endorsing it. Nope, that was not. And at Coffee_Vibe says, Rawlings, so in spite of all this, but you're getting too fair. So at Coffee_Vibes is quoting former President Rawlings there. But at No Side says, again, history. That was the very Rawlings we've known from the ages as a man who talks raw. He's done nothing out of character against DeSoso. So if opposing Anas means one is for corruption, then does opposing Rawlings telling DeSoso to stop bleaching mean you're for bleaching? And that's the question he's posing to us. But at Pharrell_G says, I keep saying his Alzheimer's is causing him to speak anyhow, thinking he can score points with that. And people find that amusing. The attack on the woman was reckless and marks his stature as a statesman. Will Mr. Rawlings publicly rebuke and embarrass Zanetta like he did to Anita? And that's the question they're asking. But at Joshua Abel says, she said, he told me to speak the truth no matter what. JJ Rawlings proving her right. And at Olom DH says, Rawlings makes old age attractive to me. Like, just go about being a savage to everyone. How awesome is that? But at Candy_J says, is the woman in question daft not have figured out that she was just being used as a tool? That's what you get for acting dumb. I'm even more angry at her reaction to the journalist after that needless humiliation she got from Rawlings. At Candy_J. And at Nanaya Abwa says, stop bleaching, and referring to what Rawlings told Anita DeSoso. Hashtag June 4th, 39th anniversary. At KVNG_so_ho, hashtag Rawlings, Papagana, tell them to stop or June 4 will come upon you all girls. And this is a picture of former President Jerry John Rawlings in his prime. And he says, don't worry, this is their last chance. But at Political Gabby says, the President Rawlings sub isn't funny, it's just disrespectful. Why embarrass a woman who only offered you an apology? Shameful, to say the least. Remember to join the interactive train on Facebook and Twitter. We are Joy News on TV. We're going to take a quick breather. When we come back, we're talking plastic management. You're still watching enjoying this interactive with me, Mabita Sibeti. Now, let's talk plastic management. Improving access to safe environment by every Ghanaian is critical, not only to the reduction of poverty, but also to achieving the targets of the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, indiscriminate disposal of plastic products which have choked drains and rivers have resulted in catastrophic effects on mankind. Now, the sad memories of the floods of June 3rd, 2015 are still fresh in the minds of Ghanaians, and it is for the above reasons that the global theme for this year's World Environment Day is Beats Plastic Pollution. So this is very important. This year's celebration of the World Environment Day focuses on the negative effects of plastic environment in the world. In the environment and in the world. So I want to know, what should we do as a country to control plastic waste? So let's go to Facebook with that question. What should we do as a country to control plastic waste? Let's go to Jackson, who says, people are not blaming governments and policymakers. What about you? Did you ever try to educate people near you to dispose waste properly? At times, I have to ask a moving vehicle to stop and reverse because someone threw something out of the window, and I made sure whatever you threw out, you pick it. Stop the blame game and be your brother's or sister's keeper. So at Enyin, who says, let's resort to burning. I have over a year been burning all my domestic generation of waste. I get fuel and burn them within the area. Let's gather and burn it effectively, reduced in fact. So my comment to you is that, what about air pollution? So we've got air pollution. So with us burning all our waste, do you think it makes sense for us to burn our waste? What about air pollution? You know, but that's your comment on Facebook there. Let's see if we can get other comments on Facebook. So what should we do as a country to control the plastic waste? Let's go to Parkway, who says, I think the producers of the products in plastics should be made to get their rubbers off the streets or our water bodies. As to how they do it, I care less, but should be sanctioned if found liable. Not a single producer has waste bins in our communities or has ever done something about sanitation. K. Joe says, sack the irresponsible sanitation minister and environmental minister because he has been paid to think. We can't be paying someone to think and solve our environmental challenges and be doing the thinking ourselves. That's double work. Laughter Yah says, wow, if I may ask Ghanaians, are we human or are we here to support human? What a dirty country everywhere. Bola, God forgive us. And Brave Pascal says, just give it to IT institutions as final year project and see the tremendous results it will bring. Because we can't stop using them, but we can rather change the way we deal with them after using them. So I'm going to take the last comment there, but Akpa says, generally speaking, it's easier to recycle cardboard than plastic. Plus, paper products tend to biodegrade more easily without adding a lot of weight to the product the way glass or aluminum cans do. So when you have the choice, pick pasta in the box instead of pasta in a bag, okay, or detergent in the box instead of the bottle. Even better would be to check for companies that source their carbon sustainable or have a strong stance on deforestation. And Josie Manuel says the salary is being taken by Martin Amadou and his deputy could be useful here. Let's also start using paper so we can burn them later. So a lot of people say we should burn the papers, but I mean, we also tend to forget about air pollution. So let's not burn our pollution. Nelson Yao says absolutely nothing. Our overly rich, so loudmouth politicians are putting on our collective thinking caps. They should be busy thinking on our behalf to solve this. So this is the last comment I'm going to take. But at Sunyani says, I think plastic should be banned. This is very simple. Rwanda is one of the cleanest places in the world, not just Africa, and it all stems from the fact that the government made moves to ban plastic. I don't think this is difficult. Now, the 3 psychiatric hospitals in the country are at the verge of returning to cash and carry. That phenomenon is owing to the lack of funds for authorities to keep the country's major mental health care facilities operational. Now, since their establishment, the Accra, Ankofo and Pangtang psychiatric hospitals have largely depended on donor funds to operate. Now, the question we are asking you, do you think mental health matters are handled the best way in the country, as in if we have committed the needed financial support to help those institutions work better?
Yeah, basically, I think we should appreciate the fact that there's a growing need for most of these facilities in the health institutions. Because if we don't have that data of the mentally ill or mentally drilled people, the statistics, it will be very difficult to be able to even project or to make available to some of these facilities. But obviously you can see clearly, based on media reports and all whole of information, that we still have a deficit when it comes to most of these facilities. And it's high time in this 21st century that government should be much focused on some of these areas, because health is productivity.
No, we don't. The facilities are not enough. And we should even have personnel in that division every aspect of our life, in our workplace, but we don't. Yeah.
What do you think can be done to improve upon that issue?
Well, I believe there should be a policy in the first place, and then also we should have more institutions, and then we should also have mental health workers in every aspect of our economy. I think when we do that, it should help than the current situation.
No, I don't. For that one, I don't think. Because I've been talking a lot about it. It's very small. We need a lot. Yeah, actually, I believe the government can even you see that normally with our district hospitals, yeah, we can set up an emergency, not any emergency center, but a psychiatric hospital at our district hospitals. That we can even send doctors to go there and go and do this, but we should not wait to the person to be brought to Accra Psychiatric Hospital or Pantan. You see, it's not fair. Actually, to be honest with you, our country is not helping us.
Now let's take some of your Facebook comments on this matter. Do you think mental health matters are handled the best possible way in the country? So let's go to Sonia Botcher, who says, very, very bad. There should be a proper and nice way of giving treatment to people with such health problems. And at Rafiq Tafri, who says, how can you put a human being in these cells and expect the person to be healed mentally? We do these things and want to go to paradise. Oh my God. And at Stefan says, most of such treatments are given in our prayer camps. These are orders given by our pastors and prophets. When the situation worsened, then they asked their relatives to take them to health facilities. May the Almighty God have mercy on us and heal them. It's been a terrific Tuesday edition of Joy News Interactive with me, Mapisa CBD. Remember to stay interactive with us. Facebook and Twitter, we are Joy News on TV. You can also go to YouTube, where my Joy Online TV, to watch anything you missed. Stay blessed.